Welcome to the AHCA AGM for 2021. We'll just go through the agenda, but first of all, I'd just like to, in the spirit of reconciliation, the AHCA Executive Committee acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to the elders past, present, and extend the respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders peoples today. So our agenda today, I'm just going to go through probably first up the President's report, which probably in summary will go through what we've been doing probably, I guess, since we've started, and probably a little bit before that. I'll go back in history as to how AHCA came about. And then after we've sort of gone through that stuff, the special resolution, we'll go through the results of the special resolution, over to Fraser for the financials, and over to John with the results of the voting for Executive Committee and future activities. Lastly, if you've got any questions or would like to throw any questions out there, we'll save them to the end. And yeah, we'll get on with it, I guess. So thanks again for everyone for coming. This is actually our very first AGM for AHCA with, I guess, a full complete member base. And I can say putting together this AGM has been a very enjoyable learning curve for the Executive Committee, but one I'm extremely proud of being part of, and also I guess the guys, it's a big learning curve for us, all of us. So thanks guys for putting this together. When I think back to where we started and where we are now, I can honestly say, wow. AHCA started the journey in 2018. So we're in 2021 now, and we started in 2018 with John Batty, Jason North and myself discussing the differences of each of us had regarding certain aspects of industry and some other consultancies and the different issues we had across industry as a whole, especially in particular asbestos in soil and lead. Of which I said to John and Jason, I think it'd be a good idea if we could put an industry group together and have a voice for LAAs and hazmat consultants and try and be consistent across the industry. We took a vote there and then, having a few laughs over a beer, joking around, thinking it wouldn't really come to play. And I was voted in at that point as president, and John, you were voted in as vice president, and Jason, you were voted, oh, actually the other way around. Jason, you were vice president, and John, you were secretary. The next week, we all three of us got together at the Sydney Tattersall Club and discussed how we make this happen. So we actually did get together after that. And pulled it together. Shortly after that, Fraser joined, followed by Leroy Brown, Simon Butterfield, and Peggy Trump. At this point, we actually then took note, got official, and we actually did a vote properly for our AHCA Executive Committee. And that's how sort of the Executive Committee came together with all of us together, which we are still together today. For what it's worth, I guess Jason, myself, and John, we all stayed in the same roles that we originally we discussed over a beer. At first, our first order of business, though, was to create the constitution and have an industry group registered with New South Wales Fair Trading. So AHCA was actually registered, so officially registered on the 13th of February 2018. And believe it or not, that was actually 2 days ago. So happy birthday, AHCA, for being registered for just over 2 years. So from that point on, every 2 weeks or thereabouts, us as an executive committee got together and we had meetings ever since. So where are we now? I guess, and it was quite fitting that John, on the front page of this AGM, we had up there, what is our aim, or what are we trying to achieve? So the Asbestos and Hazardous Materials Consultants Association is an association for industry professionals within the asbestos and hazardous materials community. Our aim is to drive and encourage best practice through consultation and knowledge sharing. Does this describe us today? 2 years down the track? Well, let's see. So I'm going to run through some of the stuff we've done over the last 2 years. And when you actually put pen to paper and go through it, it's quite surprising how much we've actually done in a short period of time, being 2 years. So on the 16th of July 2019, we officially launched AHCA with an industry function on asbestos in soils at the IBM building in Pennant Hills. With just over 100 attendees, we were pretty shocked. I was actually shocked with the amount of attendees, but in the same regard, I wasn't shocked as well because the industry has been asking this for a long time. We had guest speakers, Jason Wall from New South Wales Safe Work and Gillian Gallagher from New South Wales EPA. Both were excellent and the presentations were very good and very well received. Shortly after, as a committee, we got together and we put together our second public industry function. Once again, surrounding the topic of asbestos in soil. This time we had the EPA's Alan Lai and Hamish Campbell. Quite well received, very different presentations to Safe Work, but very, very good. Thirdly, Kim Famia, Chris Thomas, Richard Wilkinson did our third piece on asbestos in soil to kind of round it up. And from that point on, I guess what we decided to do is put together a round table group that we could talk about the things that we did in our last 3 industry group forums. And that round table the idea was to try and pull some of these issues within industry to try and make the industry better. So our first working group, which was an ASBIN's working group, or asbestos in soil, which is currently chaired by Leroy Brown, that was put together and it includes the EPA, Safe Work, Ahca, and Ahca as well, Asbestos Safety and Eradication Agency. So in December 2019 and January 2020, last year, we all know this, we all were affected in some way or another, whether it was smoke or actually working or someone's family or lives were changed by the bushfires across New South Wales and some other parts across the country. It affected many, many communities. So the AHCA decided to host an industry forum in this case, and we got Safe Work, Steve Nikolowski, and the EPA's Rita Tuff and Mark Reggers to do a talk. And it was around the bushfire affected areas and the licensed asbestos assessors or LAA's role within the bushfire affected properties. It was held at the Doyles in Lincoln. Following the fires forum or industry function, this was the point, I guess, that changed the world. It wasn't the bushfires this time, but it was COVID-19. So COVID-19, it made us really sit back and go, wow, how are we going to keep this industry group together, but also functioning and making sure that it doesn't fall over in its first years of being out there. So it was a big change for us and it took us some time to work through that. Our first industry forum and topic after this point ran very successfully on a new topic this time, which was lead, and Abe Lau from New South Wales Safe Work and Andrew Orfanos, which was the AOH's president, did a great topic on lead and lead risks and lead health. Some of the other really exciting things that we've been doing over the last year include being part of the Demolition and Asbestos Consultative Committee. It was actually really exciting probably about 12 months ago to be invited to be part of that, because it does, within New South Wales, it represents our place within industry, and it includes other industry stakeholders like the unions, councils, Safe Work, the EPA, Asbestos Removal Contractors Association, master builders, just to name a few. There's actually quite a lot more. Part of the DAC committee, they also developed and put together, I think partially on our recommendation, that there are some issues within industry that one of those is a subcommittee that forms part of the DAC, and that's a lead working group. And that lead working group is really nailed down to just, I guess, those key industry stakeholders like us, Asbestos Removal Contractors Association, Safe Work, and the EPA. Also, another one got brought up with the DAC committee, which we also sit part of, is vac trucks. So the sucker trucks that suck the soil out, asbestos-related risks and other risks associated with using that type of plant is something that Safe Work and us as industry are happy to work through within another working group that includes Safe Work, EPA, and the Removal Contractors Association. Some of the other things going on include we've been invited to be part of many consultation sessions, including myself, with New South Wales and federal governments regarding digital licensing. So digital licensing for licensed asbestos assessors and removal contractors actually are coming. So very similar to your driver's license now with New South Wales Services, as well as there's going to be some changes, I guess, with interstate mutual recognition to make it easier. So we're sitting in some consultation sessions with some of those government departments. Other things we've done, which has been very positive and received with other industry groups, we have official memorandums of understandings with the AOIH, the Australian Institute of Occupational Hygienists, and RestFit, which are both important players, especially within our industry, for what it's worth. We're also in discussions with the Australian Institute of Safety and Ahca around MOUs at the moment as well. We reviewed technical advice and documents as part of the ASBIN groups, managing asbestos in or on soil, and some of the WA guidelines which are yet to be, and the WA guidelines which is being updated currently. So we now have a voice. I'd like to thank Lee to being part of the ASBIN's group and also chairing that moving forward. And I'm also going to be chairing, moving forward, that lead, paint and dust working group. I am stepping down as president, and but very happy to be part of this industry group moving forward into the future and making sure it's successful. Our current membership base, our current membership base, full members, is 73 members in total. So considering we kicked off on the 16th of July 2019, officially with everyone coming to the first meeting, that's amazing, absolutely amazing. Our consultant businesses, our business members that are consulting businesses, it's 14 in total. Our non-consulting businesses is 6 in total, and our non-corporate business is 6 in total. It's amazing. I really am absolutely gobsmacked in 18 months what we've done. It's a massive achievement, and I'd like to thank everyone for becoming members, business and individuals. We have a role to play within industry, and your membership, support and your input as part of the working group or this industry group is appreciated and will be valued into the future. As the outgoing president and founding member, I've enjoyed my time with these very professional executive committee members. John Batty, Fraser Elder, Simon Butterfield, Peggy Trump, Leroy Brown, and Cassandra Fernandez for helping us with social media. Special resolution. So we might just jump into that for a second before I close it out. The President's report. So the special resolution, just to put it into context, we put out a special resolution with a couple of things in mind, I guess, and one of those is making sure that it is, I guess, the executive committee is spread evenly across different organisations. And I know there's a lot of, or like, you know, my business has quite a few members, but making sure it's a shared role across different parts of industry, including removal contractors, government departments and individuals. So basically the special resolutions have gone through unanimously, which means one person from any one company or organisation, government department, not-for-profit, association or charity can be appointed to office bearer of the AHCA Executive Committee. So only one person from your business can be put on the Executive Committee in that particular year. The other change is also in respects to voting, and this will come into effect next time round when voting comes forward, which is each member, that includes businesses and individuals, will have one vote. So if you are an individual, you have one vote. If you have a business, you have one vote. You can actually vote for both as two votes if you are the owner and or business individual member. So the implications of these changes will take into effect from today, of which will affect some of our new committee members, and future voting allowing business members and individuals each to have their vote. Before I close it out and hand over to Fraser for the financials, I'd just like to say special mention and thoughts go out to Peggy and wish her all the best with her challenges ahead. Thanks to the Executive Committee past, and looking forward to working with the new Executive Committee moving forward. Right.
Thank you, Nigel. Afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us online, and yeah, our first AGM. I'll just briefly go through the end of year financials for the first year of the AHCA. So in that first year, we managed to have 20 memberships in total. 16 of those were full paying members. We had 41 members in the first year, some of them coming from the businesses, and 23 of them were full paying members. So in total, over that first year, the finances coming of the income was $31,710.32, made up of the business memberships, the individuals, and across the seminars that were held for the money that was collected through then. So the outgoings for the year were the bank fees for running the AHCA, the web fees of running the web, everything in the background, all that running, and for the maintenance on a monthly basis and getting the AHCA up and running for the first year. And then there was the other outgoings for running the events and stuff like that. So the total outgoings for that year were $21,938.37. And so at the end of the year figure, the AHCA still had $9,771,000.95 in the bank at the end of the year, which is pretty amazing for the first year in business, or for the association being up and running. So thank you, and I'll pass over to John to take over now. Thanks.
Thanks, Fraser. I'll go on to the next slide. So votes are in. So firstly, big thanks to Nigel, and that was a great summary there of what we've done and the achievements we've achieved in the last 2 years. It's, you know, one of those things where we never thought it was going to be able to take off, and looking at how many members we've got now and how many people we've got online is really lifts my spirits, and you know, it gives me an opportunity to think about what we can do in the future, and you know what can we do to make the industry a better place. So I guess in terms of the executive committee and who's coming on board, so I will be progressing into the role of the president as of today. Huge shoes to fill, following the great work that Nigel's done over the last 2 years, and I hope I can keep the momentum going and keep the presence of the AHCA strong in the industry. Leroy Brown will be stepping up into the vice president role. We're very pleased to have Cassandra Fernandez taking on board the role of secretary, who will be taking over from me. For the interim, I guess, following the resolution, the special resolution passing, Fraser Elder will remain on board in his current role as treasurer. However, this will be an interim role, and as an association, we'll find out how we can move that role on from now on. And I'm pleased to announce 3 new committee members in Richard Wilkinson, Chris Thomas, and James Lowe as well. So I'm really proud to have these people on board as part of the executive committee. I think we're going to get some huge traction moving forward, and I look forward to what we can do in the time ahead. I guess exiting members, just a huge thank you to Nigel and Jason. Without Nigel and Jason, we wouldn't be here at the moment. It all came down to that beer that we had, and I think it was a G-Bar Christmas event, Christmas in July, and then that struck the first chord, and we were able to catch up quite regularly after that, and then create the industry. So, we wouldn't be where we are now without the two of them. There's obviously a lot that needs to be done moving forward. So, we expect a lot from them still to come. We want to work together to encourage best practice through consultation and knowledge sharing. Also, a huge thank you to Simon Butterfield and Peggy Trump, who are part of the committee, or were committee members. Their knowledge was integral in us being able to build this association and move it forward. So a huge thank you to everyone who's been involved, and I look forward to continue to work with you in the time ahead. So just to quickly touch on future activities before I open the floor to any questions. So we've got an upcoming event. It will be similar to where we had the webinar with Safe Work New South Wales. We will be having a webinar with New South Wales EPA, where we'll be talking about lead paint and dust waste management. And we'll also be talking about the health impacts associated with exposure to lead paint and lead dust by Julia Norris, who's from OcuHealth, who used to be the AOH president. So put that into your diaries. Tuesday the 9th of March, we will be sending through some advertising material and allowing you to get your tickets for that event. Following that, we would like to create another roundtable session, and that will work with the lead working group, particularly around lead paint and dust management. And we'll be inviting Safe Work New South Wales and New South Wales EPA to attend. And that will be open to all business members to be able to come in and discuss the issues that they're facing, that the industry is facing with our regulators, and try to get a bit of traction and a bit of buy-in from both of them. I'm looking forward to the year to come. Hopefully, with COVID being managed appropriately in New South Wales, we can start to have more face-to-face meetings, face-to-face conferences, and I look forward to what is going to come in the future. I'll now open up the floor to any questions. If anyone has any questions they'd like to ask of myself, Nigel, or any other of the executive members.